Shalom, Israel. Want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BAHASHAM Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders who teach and rule well at Great Millstone, and peace and salutations and peace and mercy to the prophets, the hopeful elect, the 144,000, and to the men and women of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Shalom. Back with another lesson. I'll title this one, In Those Days. You see, in those days. Because we're coming up in the latter days, and you have the other nations, starting with Esau, Edom. They've invaded all the countries across the world, or tried to. You see, and they've oppressed Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. They've oppressed us, and the Lord is coming back to save the elect out of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. There's an elect, there's a remnant that have came back into their heritage, claiming their heritage to be Hebrew Israelites, not no black Hebrew Israelites. We're not black. The Lord said we would be scattered into all captivity across the world, and be a byword. And that black, that nigga, that Negro, that Hispanic, that Mexican, that Cuban, that Puerto Rican, that Native American Indian, those are all bywords. You see? But the Lord had, like he said, he was gonna raise up a remnant. You see, that he was gonna come back and save, that he's coming back to save. The remnant that's claiming and understanding the word of YAHAWAHSHI, and that's doing thus said the Lord, that's keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability. They're not just trying. They're really trying to their hardest. They've stopped eating pork. They've stopped eating shrimp, crab, and lobster, and all these abominable foods. They've stopped doing the Christmases and Thanksgivings and the Halloweens and all the abominable holidays. They've came out of this world, and they've came back to their heritage. You see, the Lord's coming back to save the elect, the remnant out of Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, and those 12 sons make up and consist of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. From a dark brown to a light brown. He said, my heritage is of a speckled bird. You see? So you have Jakes that look like that scattered into other nations and that look like the other nations. You see? I was just looking at Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I was just looking at him and his daughter. His daughter looks, she looks like a Samoan. She looks like a Japhet. She looks mixed, but she is a Negro. You know why? Because he's a Negro and his dad is a Negro. His mom is Japhet, a Samoan, a Uso. You see? But she is a Negro. She got blonde hair and she looked like Japhet. But she's a Negro. And you have many other Israelites that are scattered abroad and that look like the other nations, but they're Israel. But I'm gonna hop right into this. I'm gonna start at we're gonna go to Joel 3:1, because these other nations and they're over there in the Holy Land, and they've just divided, and you got these other nations, that's planning and plotting to take over that land, Israel. America's going to be destroyed and wiped off the face of the earth. But Israel is going to be destroyed too, but it's going to be built back up. And that's going to be the new Jerusalem. Because that Jerusalem over there right now, that's not Jerusalem. That's Amalek. That's part of Esau, Edom. He's part of that Mount Seir. So let's go to Joel 3:1, and it reads, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." Who's Judah? Judah is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You see, those are the Negro tribes. That's the southern tribe. The Jamaicans, the Haitians, the West Indians, the Negroes here in America, and that's scattered into all captivity. A good majority of Judah is right here, in the bulk right here in the Americas. But Judah makes up of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You see, and all in the Caribbeans, that's what that makes up of that Judah. Jerusalem is pretty much Israel, the northern tribes. You see, the Native Americans, Gad, and Issachar, the Mexicans, the Panamanians, the Argentinians, the Chileans, and the Cubans, Puerto Ricans. The list goes on. That's the northern tribe, but that's Judah in Jerusalem. 2, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people. The Lord said, I'm going to plead for them there for my people. And who is the Lord's people? Israel, you Hebrew Israelites. See, this is what the other nations and these Christian churches just can't get. They can't get it through their mind that the Lord is his people is Judah and Jerusalem. It's Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. The Lord has all these nations. He's gathering them for war to come down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of decision, judgment, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. That he says this over and over in the book. For my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land. And if you know about Israel over there, it's divided. You have the Christians, you have the Muslims, and then you have those unorthodox Jews, so-called Jews. They've departed that land, and it's pure wickedness over there. They celebrate man on man and women over there. They eat all the abominable foods. They have their own holidays. They've totally polluted that land, and they've divided it. So the Lord is he's gathering these nations. You see, America trying to stick their nose in over there with Israel and stand with Amalek, and they're going to be destroyed. America is going to be wiped off the face of the earth. America will never be inhabited ever again. Call Allah, YAHAWAHSHI. It's going to be one big giant desert. This is World War III. America is going to lose. Period. America is going to lose World War III. So let's go to Joel 3:3. And it reads, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. And that's what they've done. You know, the nations, and ultimately Edom, Esau, Edom, you so-called Caucasian white people. You know, your forefathers have through time sold the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You sold them for a harlot, for a woman, or sold them for a bottle of wine, or sold them for some type of merchandise, you know, trading and selling. You know, these young men, these young Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, men and women, you sold them and broke up families and raped their women, raped our women, you know, and you've done everything to totally destroy Jake. It says, 4. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? And that's what and that's what they've done. They've tried to totally, these nations, and Esau, Edom, the Hamitic, the Africans, you know, these other nations, Elam and Moab and China, these different nations, they've all came together, and they've tried to destroy Jake. 5. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly, pleasant things. You see, and they did that in 70 A.D. The Romans, when they stormed the temple and took all that, even to now with the tribes, which you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. They've took everything from the Lord and stole it, but they're going to have to return that, starting with Esau, Edom, and these other nations. You are going to have to return what you stole, and you're going to pay for that in these days that are coming. 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. And that's what they've done. You know, going back to the Syrians, and the Medo-Persia, and the Greece, and then the Greco-Roman Empire. You know, this last and fourth rulership. You know, we've went from captivity to captivity to captivity to captivity. You know, and this is the last rulership of men, and Esau is ruling. He's on the throne right now. He's been ruling through his weaponry and false religion. You know, he's ruling. You see, and they have removed Jake far from the border. Israel, from the Americas, that's way on the other side of the world, and they sold us here. You see. 7. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them. See, the Lord said, I will raise them out of the place that you have sold them. And here we are in the Americas, all the Americas, North, South, Central America, and across the globe too. You know, you sold Jake, and the Lord is raising up that remnant. He's raising up that remnant right now. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. 8. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people far off, for Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI has spoken it. And I'm gonna leave it there. Call Allah YAHAWAHSHI. See, these other nations, ultimately Esau, Edom, you're going into slavery. We're gonna shackle you up and put you in chains and do you just like how you did us. You see? So this is why all this is going on in this turmoil around the world, and it's going to spiral out of control, and this land America is going to be destroyed. It will never be inhabited ever again. That place over there in Israel is going to be destroyed, but it's going to be built back up through Esau, Edom, you so-called Caucasian white people, you white folks, and you other nations. You're going to build Israel, that land, back up, because we're going to put you into slavery. And Israel, the ones that you've oppressed, Esau, you've oppressed the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You've oppressed them. You've sold them. You put us into captivity. You've beat us. You've robbed and murdered us. You've done that. So now the Lord's gonna he's recompensing your double upon you. You're gonna drink that cup. That's why these curses that have been on Jake, on the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, these curses that's been on us, having it hard, living in the worst condition, getting the worst jobs, the first to get fired, the last to get hired, eating nothing, eating crumbs and eating the worst food, going to the worst schools. I mean, just being on the complete bottom, in prison. You're just imprisoning Jake, for nothing, blowing their brains out over a traffic stop. They're, just doing whatever you want to. That's coming to an end. These curses that we've been under, you're going to go under now. And it's falling upon you right now. And we're watching it before our eyes, the downfall of Esau, Edom, and these other nations, and you built this space force, to try to, because you see the chariots out there. You have no answer for the Elohim, the angels. The Lord's going to gather you up like you, Esau, Edom, and these other nations. He's gathering the nations, their armies, their militaries over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat. And he's going to let you guys fight. And in the midst of that, he's coming back with the Elohim, with an innumerable amount of angels on a gigantic ship. These so-called UFOs, you can sit there and think that they're fake all you want. A lot of Esau, Edom, and playing game, but they're being revealed. The elites in them know. They know about these vehicles of the angels, and YAHAWAHSHI, but they're gonna come back and they're gonna destroy you, and it's gonna be a first round TKO, 10 seconds, but in the midst of all that, the elect is gonna get saved out of this big gigantic mess, this fire that the Lord is bringing on the world, man. The elect is going to get beamed up into them ships. They're going to be saved. Like it says, they shall be amazed at the salvation of Israel, roughly paraphrasing it. And when we get into the kingdom, we're going to take your woman, all you nations, Moab and China, and Ammon and Japheth and Ham, and all you different nations. We're going to have your women and we're going to be trading them off. They're going to be concubines to us. And you men are going to be enslaved. You're going to be enslaved for 1,000 years. And Esau, after them 1,000 years, you're out of here. It ain't going to be no more Esau, because you're the devil. Call Allah YAHAWAHSHI. See, the Lord is righteous, man. The Lord is righteous. Our forefathers went off, and we've sat here in this big prison camp and around the world, and we've taken our beating. Now, you've helped further the affliction. You've done more than you were supposed to, Esau, and you other nations. So now you're gonna get it. So we continue to keep prophesying and speaking, thus said the Lord, YAHAWAHSHI, and prophesying and telling the world on the coming destruction and the second return of the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. And you other nations are going into slavery. Call Allah YAHAWAHSHI. And Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the elect, right along with the Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, YAHAWAHSHI, and under him King David and the 12 disciples and the 144,000 and on down are going to rule the kingdom in righteousness. Righteousness. It ain't going even the nations are going to be enslaved, but they're going to be ruled. They're going to be rejoicing because it's going to be ruled in righteousness, man. It ain't going to be no unrighteousness. You going to get in line and do the right thing and live. We're going to be ruled in righteousness forever. This kingdom where we're at and around the world, this is not ruled in righteousness. This is some tyrannical, demonic, satanic, cruel, evil rulership right now. You're forcing people against their own will. You see? So this is coming to an end. This is the last days, the last seconds of Esau. You see? Call Allah YAHAWAHSHI. But I just wanted to go in on that. Spirit hopped on me. Hopefully you were edified. But I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BAHASHAM, Rakak, Wadash. Shalom, Israel.